Something that people need to realize more often is the power of the mind and what you are capable of doing just through your mind, your consciousness. It creates your entire life. What we think our lives to be, we tend to look at what we can sense, hearing, seeing, smelling. That's what we accept as concrete and absolute. But you know what? The secret that the 1% knows that so many people of the general population don't know is that the mental plane and the spiritual plane are so much more powerful than the physical plane. But so many people sit here and say like, oh, my life is this, my life is that in the physical plane. For one, take this for example. Your life is what you accept it to be. That is what it is. That your life is your mental declaration towards what you think it is. The feelings that you put towards your life is what you're going to get in return. So if you think your life is miserable, if you think your life is in suffering, if your life is in struggle, you feel all these emotions, you're going to paint a picture of your life to become exactly that. Ask and you shall receive. As man thinketh in his heart, so is he. It's written in the Bible. It's written throughout so many ancient scriptures, but the only people that actually follow this is the 1%, because they've learned how to control their realities. Now, how do you control your reality? I just told you, ask and receive. Anything that you ask for wants to make its way towards you. You could ask for $1 million, but the problem with that is that you have so many limiting beliefs and blockers and doubts that say, no. You can't get $1 million. How are you going to get that? You have all of these. See, your consciousness is what creates your reality. You create your reality with your consciousness. What you accept your life to be is what it is. See, the whole thing about struggle, like we think struggle is this and struggle is that, but struggle is what you make it to be. You could have one person that has a hard life and then take another person that has a hard life. This person over here says, my life is terrible, my life is hard. You could have the other person who has the same equivalent from an outsider perspective. Both of these lives are, pretty equal. But then this person over here says, you know what, my life's not that bad. My life's good. And they have this mentality, their life is good. Who is going to see more opportunities come into their life where they're able to change it and create an easier life? It's the person who thinks that their life is good. Because whenever you are aligning yourself, whenever you are identifying yourself, you're aligning yourself with that struggle mentality, with a life of suffering, with a life of sadness. If you align yourself with a life of struggle, then that is exactly what your life is going to be. The beliefs that you set in stone is the beliefs that you will live by. Now, I'm going to give you a little step-by-step manifestation process that you can use to achieve anything that you want. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Because you are infinite. You are infinite capability. You are infinite potential. We as humans are able to do anything that we want with our lives. That's what we need to realize. So first thing first, you need to decide what your desire is. What is your desire? What have you always wanted? Because anything that you want, you are able to get that, but you just need to decide clearly and specifically, that is what I want. And then once you make that mental declaration, like I said before, it's trying to find its way towards you. Through the mental plane, things bleed into the physical reality. The physical reality, this physical plane we live on, is the lowest of the 3 planes of existence. The physical, the mental, and the spiritual. The physical reality is the lowest. It is the last of all of the planes of existence to come and be created. But we sit here and say like, oh, like my life is this and my life is that, because physically with the senses, that's what you're seeing. But you don't need to abide by your physical senses. Now, a lot of people think, oh, that's woo-woo, you know, that's stupid. No, that is how it works. Your mentality is what you create your life to be. So as I was saying before, first you make the declaration, this is what I want. And then through that, you create the conviction that you're going to achieve that thing. This is how manifestation works. If you don't believe in manifestation, then it's just not going to work for you. If you don't believe that you're able to achieve the goal that you want, then it's just not going to work for you. You don't even need to believe in spiritual stuff to make the life that you want. All that you need is these next steps that I'm about to tell you, and they can be applied physically and spiritually, logically and psychologically. All right? As I said, conviction in your goal. Conviction is the most important thing in your journey. Conviction in what you want. And by the way, what you wouldn't put past yourself in attaining is 9 times out of 10 what you're going to get. If you have doubt that you are going to, not get this thing, then you're not going to get it. Simple as that. Whatever you can 100% put your faith in, that is 100% what you're going to get every single time. So conviction. He with the strongest emotional conviction wins. Whoever believes the hardest in what they want to attain is what they will attain. Everyone around you could be doubting you. But if you have stronger emotional conviction than them that you're going to get what you want, then you're going to get what you want. The strongest emotional conviction wins. Because with manifestation, what is even more powerful than action, while action and physical work is super important, what is even more powerful than that? Conviction. Mentally knowing that you're going to get it. And then how do you amplify this? How do you make your conviction last? You need to hack into the spiritual plane. We have access to the mental plane right here. Through our mentality, we are able to create exactly what we want. So how do you get even more powerful results beyond that? Through the spiritual plane. How do you access the spiritual plane? I can give you 2 ways to do this. Do whatever works for you best. Because as I said earlier, what you believe is what will be. What you believe in is what will be. What you believe works will work. At the end of the day, what you think matters the most and what you think will work is what is going to work. So, prayer and meditation. Prayer and meditation is the most important thing that will align you spiritually with the goal that you want. Because at the time of birth, you were given a life that you had already agreed to that is aligned with what you want. And you're going to be given tests throughout this life to see if you are able to attain that is what you want. So you already have this preconceived notion of what's going to be happening in your life. But how do you rewrite that? How do you amplify what you want? Through the spiritual plane. Prayer and meditation is how you rewire your subconscious, and your subconscious connects you to the spiritual plane. Your subconscious will unconsciously take you to opportunities that will lead you towards your goals. And that's why I say mental declaration is one of the most important things. Because once you mentally declare something, your subconscious says, okay, let me help you out there. Your subconscious is a servant to you. Any thought that you have, any feeling that you have is going to be relayed to your subconscious, and your subconscious is going to carry that action out and make it come to fruition, whether it's good or bad. Your subconscious doesn't differentiate between good or bad. Your subconscious is a servant that carries out exactly what it thinks that you want. So along the process of manifestation, so many people get bogged down, and that's the last thing that you want. The last thing that you want is to get bogged down. So what you need to do is practice neutrality towards all things. Because whenever your old identity has a frequency, and your old self is always going to want to come back until you can finally kill it. That is what killing the old self means. That's what ego death means. You get rid of the old self to become something new. It's the phoenix rising from the ashes. It's to turn lead to gold. Your old self is going to want to come back, and it's going to want to hold you down. It's going to say, no. Keep being lazy. Keep doing what you always did in the past. Remember? That's what's comfortable. That's what you like. Humans, we are beings of comfort. We don't want to step outside of our comfort zones and create something new. And that's the test of reality. That is the test of this reality. You need to overcome the things that you already believe to be true about your existence and rewrite it. You constantly are creating new pathways and new existences. But you actually need to stick true to one of those pathways and new existences to stay true to that thing. Everything comes from within. Your life is created from within. Emotionally emotions are the strongest thing that will dictate your life to be what it will be. And then with all this, the most powerful thing that you can do for manifestation is to expect without expectation. What does that mean? How do you expect without expectations? You have high expectations for yourself. You know that you're going to achieve these great things, but you don't have expectations for when, how, or even if they roll out. Manifestation occurs whenever you are not emotionally dependent on the outcome of something. Absorb that in. Take that in. That is the most important lesson that I can teach you in this whole video. Manifestation occurs whenever you are not emotionally dependent on the outcome. You need to be good with and without something. Whenever you are dependent on the outcome of something, you are aligning your identity with lack, and all of the actions that you take will be in that of lack. If you're aligning yourself with, I need this to be happy, I need this, I need that, I'm not happy right now, I'm not whole and complete right now, then you are going to trick your subconscious into believing that you're not whole and complete. And guess what happens whenever you do that? You're going to continue to not be whole and complete. That's why everyone in the manifestation process, whenever you are building a new life, you're eventually going to have a breaking point, because you have been spending so much time trying to hold on to your past self, and your past self is saying, I need this to be happy. That is the last thing that you want to do. If you need something to be happy, you are going to convey out into the world that you don't have it. Now, my experience with this was profound. Whenever I found this out, I realized so much. I was failing at my job miserably for like 3 months. I was not happy with the work that I was doing. I was so desperate for sales that I was so desperate for sales that my energy was coming off as desperation. And whenever my energy was coming off as desperation, I couldn't get what I wanted, because whenever you are aligning yourself with lack, that's what you're going to get. That's what you're going to receive. You're going to receive lack. So you need to become the best version of yourself right now to receive what you want. If you don't give yourself that peace of mind, then you're never going to achieve peace of mind. You need to be complete right now with what you want to get on the lifeline of success happiness, and wealth, or whatever that is to you. Extrapolate this to your own story and what you're trying to achieve. And so often what people do is, whenever it comes to the desperation of not having it, you are not going to get what you want because you are living in desperation of not having it. So you can't get married to dates. You can't get married to a timeline of whenever it happens, because if you're giving your emotional worth to a time frame, you're putting your emotional worth on a time frame. You're putting your emotional worth on not having it. If you're putting your emotional worth on not having it, then that's what you're going to have. Reality follows your emotions. The physical reality, the physical world around you listens to your emotions. It does not listen to what you currently have in this physical reality and then multiplies it. It doesn't do that. It only does that if you accept your current physical reality. Sometimes you got to be delusional. Sometimes you need to believe what people tell you not to believe. That's how you create your reality. Manifesting, I love giving this example to the people that I work with because it paints such a great picture. But manifesting is like investing. The best investors don't sell whenever things look bad. They don't sell whenever things look bad. The best investors hold. The best investors do not sell until it is absolutely the best time to sell. That is what the best investors do. And that is what the best creators of the realities do as well. They don't give up at the signs telling them to give up, because the signs telling you to give up is simply your old reality telling you, this isn't working. You got to stop trying. Just go back, live with your mom. Come on, don't do that. Don't try that, because your old identity has a consciousness, and your old identity doesn't want to die. All of this stuff is happening internally. We don't see it happen, but your old self doesn't want to die. You want to keep living as your old self. You don't want to grow. I mean, comfort is what we want. That's what we want as humans. That's what we think is the right thing. But that's just not true. That's just simply not true. Comfort equals death. But yeah, investing is what you invest your mentality into is what you will get. So if you're investing your mentality into confidence, I'm going to get this no matter what, and you just consistently put your emotional energy into that, you put your investments into that, then that's going to be your return. That's what you're going to get. And this stuff takes time. Whenever you have this discipline and this confidence that I'm going to become something great, it accumulates over time. You don't see this overnight. You don't see a millionaire overnight. I mean, you can win the lottery, but you're probably going to become broke right away, because people still live in their old realities. If you're broke in your old reality, then you're going to stay broke in your next reality if you want to keep living in your new reality. That's why people that win the lottery, they lose that money so fast, because they're not used to having all that money. Their old identity is always going to be there until you kill the old identity. And this takes time. To turn into a new person, to change your reality, takes time, because exactly what your reality is a reflection of your inner state. Exactly what your reality is a reflection of your inner state. And that's why it takes time, because changing your inner state takes time. Anyway, follow me for more, or subscribe.